Commence primary ignition.
Hi, I'm Yeleni Cushion. I played Barriss Offee in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, and you're watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
Hello there.
Hi, everyone. Happy Monday, Rebels.
Happy Monday. Hi, Mike. We see you in the chat.
I'll give everyone a few minutes to join us on this fantastic wintry Monday here in New
Yeah.
York. I think it's just as cold in Boston, right?
Yeah, it's freaking freezing down here. Like, that wind is just brutal. Hi,
Yep.
Sarah. Nice to see you. Hi, Jen.
Sarah's back. Yay. Sarah, at some point we have to talk the Doctor Who trailer. Because we just got a season trailer for Doctor Who, which is exciting. We're going to cover, like we have been doing, some pop culture news, what's going on in Star Wars. There are definitely some big announcements
Hi,
this
Lori.
week.
Yeah, big things this week.
Yeah, and then get into our watch along, probably at about half past the hour. We're making our way through season 4. So last week we did our best of season 2 because we had just finished making our way through season 2. We've actually already watched every episode in season 3, so we are going to do a season 3 best of in a few weeks. But in the meantime, we're going to do a couple of watch alongs for season 4 as we make our way through there. We've watched some of season 4 already because of the build up to Andor. And I was trying to remember, like, why did we start watching season 4? It was Andor related, all the Mon Mothma content and everything.
Yep,
but tonight we're going to watch a very Thrawn heavy episode. And as you can see from the picture, we got Loth Wolves in the mix.
Yeah, and Homeboy's not happy.
Yeah, he's a little scary in this episode because we still don't know anything that's going on. But it's a fantastic episode. Not only is it season 4 where you can see the end game sort of plainly in sight, and we've all seen it already, so we know it's coming. But the mystery is unraveling for our heroes, and this is still in sort of the first half of the season. We're just about to get to that tipping point where things are getting really, really real. But the wolves arriving and interacting with Ezra is a sign of, I think Kanan uses the phrase, all the paths are converging. So it's definitely more serious than what we've seen in prior seasons, without a doubt.
Definitely. And Ezra's ability to contact animals and to reach out through the forest to contact animals is stronger than it's been. So he's not afraid anymore.
Yeah.
Even though those are pretty scary wolves.
He's able to receive the message as needed, which is great. There was potentially a time where maybe this message was out there for him and he wasn't able to receive it. But again, all paths are converging. So we'll get into that later. For now, we do want to talk a little bit about what else is going on in the pop culture. I finally saw Dune 2 and loved it. Thought it was spectacular. I understand how people are, super rated R, super weird. Everything I had wanted. Zendaya was spectacular. I thought the whole cast was killer. Austin Butler was tremendous.
So scary, right?
Yeah. He delivers. He's gonna be someone who remains, I think, a Hollywood A-lister for a very long time to come. So
Mike says, "Let me grab my sandworm bucket."
Yeah, let me tell you, I was not going to buy one, but I was curious if my theater that I went to in Manhattan had any of the buckets left, and they did not. But they did have a lot of Ghostbusters merch because it was actually Ghostbusters opening weekend last weekend, or this past weekend that just happened, and I was not there to see Ghostbusters. But
I haven't seen it yet either.
yeah, I'm going to wait till next weekend. and there's like a ghost trap, and there's a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man cup, and a Slimer
Cute.
thing. There's a lot of Ghostbusters merch, you guys.
Oh,
It's
I love
almost
it.
too much. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, Lori, art by Matt Ferguson on that episode 1 popcorn bucket. It's exciting. I love Matt's art. He does phenomenal work, and it's just cool that they're continuing to keep him on for these posters and these merch. So it's
Yeah,
exciting.
it's exciting that we are now in a place where even though it won't be new movies, there will be Star Wars in a theater coming soon. So
Mhm.
in May, the Phantom Menace is obviously doing its own thing with like the 25th anniversary run in theaters. And then there's that bonkers 9 episode Skywalker
24
marathon.
hours.
People are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think that I could stay for more than 2 movies, never mind
Right.
9.
Okay. I mean, I would just leave before Rise of Skywalker. So,
And even that, it's like I don't need to watch 7 or 8 of them. I get it. There's definitely a camaraderie component to this, and it'd be
oh
like, "I was
yeah,
there when," and you get a fancy lanyard or some shit, but,
yeah.
like,
Same thing
these
with
movies
Guardians
are
of the
on.
Galaxy.
Yeah, look, these movies are well, and that's different because it's 3 movies. You can sort of make the case,
Right,
but, like,
right.
and I think the MCU did this in getting ready for Endgame. There was sort of a run through of everything. Um, yeah. Wait, Lori, are you going to the Skywalker thing, or are you going to Phantom Menace? Like, because Phantom Menace on its own, I'm all for, but Lori, you can't sit there for 9 movies, girl. You'll die.
He'll die.
Yeah.
Mike says, "How about that Jabba the Hutt popcorn buckets for Seasons of the Force next month?"
I
Jamie
haven't seen
wants
it
to
yet.
get one. Okay, I will show you. Jamie wants to get one and bedazzle the crap out of it. So
Okay.
she was calling
I'm
it
down for that.
Liberace the Hut.
I like that plan. I
It's
look,
so
the
funny.
popcorn bucket game has gotten kind of out of control, but I also understand that like it's getting harder and harder to monetize movies and it costs so
Right.
much to show them. I'm glad the theaters have found a new revenue stream, and I'd rather pay $20 for a popcorn bucket than $20 for popcorn. Let's be clear.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely.
um
Jeez.
and Lori, thank you for confirming that you're going to see the Phantom Menace. I am
Yay.
not particularly interested in seeing the Phantom Menace on the big screen because I've seen it enough times and they're not doing anything new with it. Not that I'm saying they should continue to tinker with the movies, but I do think if anything would benefit from a special effects upgrade, and when that I think really 4K. Like I think 4K digital release or 4K disc. Yeah, he's cute enough.
He talks, and so does
Okay.
the Joaquin.
Oh, does
Voice
Salacious
actor.
Crumb talk? Oh,
Yes.
Mark Dodson would have loved this. This is
I
so
know.
infuriating.
I
Um,
know.
yeah,
It's
he kept
sad.
that character alive. Let me tell you, man.
He
He
did.
was at all the
Nothing
cons, and
like hearing that laugh
yeah.
from across the
Um,
con.
oh,
So good.
that's sad. Um, so the popcorn buckets. The Ghostbusters popcorn buckets were out of control. The Dune popcorn bucket actually like really set the internet on fire. And I will say, as someone who works in consumer products,
Right.
every movie studio who's releasing a blockbuster movie of any type needs to get their popcorn bucket game rolling like right now, and I
Right.
don't think anyone will capture the accidental virality of the Dune popcorn bucket. I do
Yeah,
think
I
there
wouldn't
is
tempt them. I
no,
really
I do think that there's something to be said that there's like a big business to be had
Oh,
here,
yeah.
you know,
I mean,
and
I have
specialty
the
cups
first Ecto-1, popcorn bucket that they had a couple of years back. I have that
for
one.
Afterlife.
Yeah, for Afterlife. Was it accidental? Was it? I
Look,
have the Thor: Love and Thunder one, the Mjolnir, the broken
yeah,
Mjolnir. I have that one. I have a John Wick popcorn bucket over there. It's just
look, I
it's okay.
have 0 popcorn buckets, but I will tell you when I go to a Broadway show, I will usually get myself a mixed drink, and now they'll give it to you in a souvenir cup for all of like $5 more, and the drink is $30 regardless, right? You can buy air, and it's going to cost that much at a
Yeah.
Broadway show. Um,
It's yeah.
it's out of control. So I'll
Right.
usually get a souvenir cup, and we had those for the longest time. My husband and I, because we lived in New York for so long, we would go to a ton of Broadway shows, and that would be
Mhm.
um, the thing that we would get or a program or something. I
Right.
actually really miss programs. We were
Yeah.
at the Madonna concert and I was like, they had it. This is back in December, and we didn't. There wasn't a program, and I was like, "There's every other piece of merch. But like that feels like the right takeaway. But I'm thinking movies could start doing that. Something like the Skywalker Saga thing that I would never attend, but good luck to everyone else who's going to. That's something you can imagine there being a souvenir program for, being like it's a one night only event. May the 4th, celebrating 25 years of the prequel era. Blah blah blah. It comes with lobby cards. Like
Yeah,
that's the type of thing that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, I
absolutely.
thought I was hallucinating that there are no programs for Madonna. That seems, especially like I don't need a t-shirt.
How
All
can
I
you
own are
do a
t-shirts.
career spanning like tour and not have programs? Like Taylor Swift
Well,
had programs.
my suspicion is that there's a book coming, like a hardcover book,
Oh,
and I wonder if you're going to sell that, can you not have a program? Whenever I see that there's a category missing because I work in consumer products, I'm always thinking there's a conflict with another contract. Like that's
right.
what's happening. So,
You are
um
right.
that's probably what's in the works. And she just
Right.
announced that she's going to be in Rio for something, which I thought the tour was ending.
Oh
Oh my
my
God, Sex
God.
Book 2.0. Look, now it would be shocking. That meanwhile, you look at that book now, and it's like I think she like kisses a woman. It's like that. This is how explicit it's getting. It's really the the goalposts have moved, kids, on what was once considered
Yeah.
controversial. Um,
Um,
so yeah, so Ghostbusters and Dune, I think, sort of ruled the box office this weekend. What did you do this weekend, Ashley?
um, I worked, but I got caught up on X-Men '97,
Yes.
which I absolutely love. But I know. Okay, I've read Age of Apocalypse. I
hmm
know Rogue and Magneto have a thing, and they have a child together named Charles and stuff like that.
hmm
Still don't
I don't
like
think
it.
that's coming, but I don't think that's coming. I think they wanted to hint to us a couple things.
Yeah,
So minor spoilers for X-Men '97. We're not going to give away the show. We're 2 episodes in. We're a spoiler-free zone. I will say I love the animation. The opening sequence still slaps.
absolutely.
The
Even with the upgrades in animation, the
Yeah.
extra morph scene with Sinister,
mhm.
still just oh,
Yeah, it's so
soul,
good.
soul so
Morphs in
happy.
the opening sequence, so is Bishop.
Bishop.
Jean Grey has moved up in the lineup. She's right after Scott. And Professor X was in the opening, and then Magneto has moved to the very front in episode 2 because
Mhm.
Magneto, and you've seen it in the trailer, is now sort of in charge of the X-Men.
Right.
So there's a couple things happening that I think is a great setup. With Charles missing, it's a vacuum. It's literally a vacuum. Who fills the role of leadership? There's Scott, there's Storm, there's Magneto. Magneto is in the will and testament as the owner of all things X-Men, et cetera, et cetera. Um, how is he going to behave? This has
Yeah.
happened in the comics. So they are picking up a couple of those through lines in terms of like how will Magneto be in charge of this particular group? How does
Right.
Scott deal with that? Jean Grey is pregnant. And at the same time, Storm is going to go through a very large,
Change.
yeah, like life altering situation, again, based on a comic run.
Right.
Um, Underneath all, I would say they're the key players. The minor players are Gambit, Wolverine, and it's weird that Wolverine's not in the top tier, but I don't think he's in the top tier for this. I think Wolverine, Gambit, Rogue, Jubilee, they're all supporting cast. Beast barely had
Sunspot.
any
Yeah.
lines. Sunspot, he was sort of our way in for a minute, but I don't think we're going to do a lot with him. My
You never
assumption
know.
is um, Rogue's insistence on not being able to touch is one, a reminder of her powers and the consequences of her powers. But I also think, given that there's an incident with the the collars, and then the collars being transformed into a gun, like we saw in X-Men: The Last Stand, which is really an adaptation of The Cure. I think The Cure is going to come back around as a storyline, and Rogue is like your way in for that because she's the one who's
Right.
like desperate to be able to just touch someone and remove her powers. And so there's a reminder that like Magneto is someone who she could still have like a physical relationship with and it not be a problem.
Yeah, but
So
when I love my Rogan Gambit. It's
yeah,
just oh
I look, they're the end game, but I think that there's also that flirtation with Magneto. He's very charming. Um, and I think that it's just a reminder of what could be. There's a lot of, alternate potential futures with a lot of weird,
yeah,
wacky X-Men stories. I don't
yeah,
think they're going to go down that road. I think this is just a reminder of the stakes and the consequences.
right.
Um, and I don't think she wants to go back down that road either. But it also creates a nice tension for Gambit and
Mhm.
Magneto, who Gambit's got nothing to do right now except running around in crop tops. Which, by the way, love the crop top. The 90s aesthetic in the show is
So
off the
big.
like off the chain wild.
Love
Like
it.
I love everything about it. It's so
Yep, yep.
weirdly queer. While and also like really horny. I don't know what's up with the show, but like everyone is like trying to get with each other in a way that like I forgot just how much of a soap opera X-Men is.
Oh, yeah. Big time. But I had a lot of fun watching that. I finally got caught up on Bad Batch because I was a little bit behind on Bad Batch too. Um, yeah, that
Yeah,
that Fennec
but
episode was insane, and
you know what's coming. You
I
know
love
who
her.
you know she's on the phone with. Who's the
Yeah,
girlfriend she called? Like I think there's one
absolutely,
guess, right?
absolutely. I'm just like, oh, girl,
Yeah, I'm ready for
no,
my Asajj Ventress to enter the chat, please. Um,
exactly.
Fennec was terrific in the episode of Bad Batch.
Mhm.
And by the way, for all your Bad Batch needs, obviously the Thursday night watch along, you can watch the episode with them, and then the boys have their after show on Friday. There's a new episode this Wednesday. It's just one episode this week. And then we're making our way. Like it is kind of crazy that we're basically at the halfway point of the
I'm not
series.
ready. I'm
I know
not
I'm not
ready.
ready for it to be over. I'm just starting to enjoy. I shouldn't say I'm starting to enjoy it. I am really, really enjoying it, and I
Yeah,
don't want it to be over. And yeah,
yeah,
reminder that there's no spoilers immediately after the episode until we get to the watch along. And then, of course, that's why the after show is scheduled for Friday. So we give everyone some time to,
absolutely.
you know, time to watch and marinate, and then join up with the boys and do all the in-depth coverage because there's a lot to unpack in Bad Batch. Like there's
There
so
are.
much happening and so many characters, and I'm bad at remembering the clones. People say designation numbers, like they just remind them out of, like pull it out of their head, and I was like, I gotta look that up. Someone's gotta pull up the Wikipedia for me.
As soon as I saw Wolf, I'm like, okay, so I'm getting caught up, and I'm like, okay, well, we know he helps out Rex and the Rebels crew in the future,
Hmm.
but to see him be on the side of the Empire is
Yeah.
jarring to me. It's so
Oh
jarring.
yes. Well, remember everyone lost the Clone Wars. So
Yeah.
the Empire, the Republic lost, the
Hello.
Separatists lost. The Empire is like its own kind of thing. It's crazy. Yeah, there's definitely no
Yeah.
filler episodes this season.
Right,
And
Sherry.
Sherry,
I'm with you.
yep, this is the. I agree. I think almost all of them will be killed. That's
Oh,
my terribly
not
morose
ready.
prediction.
Not ready, dude.
No.
Oh,
Um, but while
no.
we're preparing for that, there was also something really fun that happened in New York this past week. The
Yeah.
Empire State Building had something of a takeover from the Empire itself. They basically lit
Hayden
up the Empire State Building.
Christensen.
Yeah, yeah, Hayden popped in. So I
He
knew a little bit about
set the
this
switch.
because, you know, uh, Lucasfilm announced that they were going to do something at the Empire State Building, which that alone made me laugh because I was like, how has it taken this long for the Empire to invade the Empire State
Absolutely.
Building? You
It's
know, it seems
mind-boggling.
so obvious to me.
Yep.
And yet here we are. But they lit it up not just red, because you know how you can like light up the top of the Empire State Building for like whatever cause. They
Yeah,
do
yeah.
it for, you know, all sorts of holidays and things like that. There's like a projection screen
Yeah,
that they
that
were
was
using.
shocking. It was so good.
They spent a
So good.
ton of money on that. And I gotta be honest, I kind of don't know why, because were they telling people to tune in to Bad Batch? Like, there's no movie out. Um, there's no new TV show. I mean, an Acolyte trailer came out, and we're going to talk at length about Acolyte, but like, this is very much an equity campaign. And I guess they're starting a dark side thing that's going to roll out between now and Acolyte. And we'll be doing that on our channel as well. We're going to have dark side coverage all
Of
after
course.
May the 4th. But it's March and we're not even in May. So the marketing is starting early.
They're kicking it off big time.
Yeah.
Imperial March at the end of
Yeah.
March, which is bizarre to
Yes.
me.
It's a little strange. Yeah. And to celebrate that, right. It's so prequel anniversaries, those start in May. That's the thing. So it all just seems a little the timing's a little weird. Like if you told me they were doing this on May the 4th, it would make more sense to me. But that
Absolutely.
being said, it was very, very cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
We had Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, who plays Captain Carson Diva. He made the trip down from Canada
Mhm.
to attend that, and oh, just so cool. Such a cool experience. Um, I know there were some fans there that got to experience it too. Um,
Yeah, there were people who came in from out of town
yeah,
just to see the light up thing.
And
Yeah.
even
So
people who weren't, like, didn't know what was going on, like, they could see the projection, like, the trench run happening right up the center of the Empire State Building, like, one girl in the video was like, "I was just leaving work across the street and this happened." Like, she's like, "I'm so excited." Yes, the outer rim of Canada.
And so I'm reading a little bit about specifically what's happening because it's not just a one-time thing. It is a month-long event. So they're calling it a takeover. So Star Wars is taking over the Empire State Building. And they said the takeover includes an interactive photo moment highlighting new Star Wars products in window and observation deck displays with select experiences open to the public through April
Nice.
29th. So if you're in New York between now and April 29th, and I am, so I am going to try to go, not
That's
this
awesome.
weekend, but the following weekend. um, you can go to the 86th floor observatory and you can pose with a life-size Funko Pop Darth Vader, which is what we saw Hayden Christensen posing with. Um, there's also a museum quality display of a life-size Star Wars villain built from Lego bricks, 6 feet tall. And Darth Vader and Darth Maul. So there's a bunch of stuff that's happening. So and it's all happening in the Empire State Building itself. The projections are incredible.
Mhm.
And this whole thing is happening for a month. So yeah, it's the March to May the 4th is what they're saying. The Imperial March to May the 4th. So yeah, if you're in New
Exciting.
York, one, look me up. I'd love to hang out. And two, visit the Empire State Building and check out all the cool Star Wars stuff that's happening.
Yeah, Mike says, "Please go, Mark, and share lots of your
Yeah.
pics of it
There were
first."
definitely people from our group, and people who are just, general fans who put stuff on Instagram and all that. I will absolutely make it a point to go to this.
Exciting.
And yeah, you can easily find some pictures around. I did see quite a bit of coverage, including the Lego Darth Vader, which was very cool.
So cool. I love that. I love building with bricks.
Um,
Um,
I think
we
that's
also had
the big events.
Yeah, we also had, HasLab drop some, uh, full pictures of the Ghost with
Oh,
all the 3.75, Ghost Crew figures, and let me tell you, I have never been so happy to make that purchase in my entire life. Like, honestly, it's gonna be so cool when it gets here, and they just look phenomenal, like, absolutely phenomenal. Like, look at this. See if I can get you in there. Out the glare,
mhm.
you can kinda see.
Was that on their Instagram? I don't
Uh,
remember getting an email about this,
yeah,
but
it's just something that they posted. They have
yeah,
all the figures, all the prototypes set up. You got Sabine, it's pretty cool. Um, it
I'm
just
glad I
they set
ended
up a
up.
diorama for it. It was just huge, by the way. Hasbro Pulse dropped some Acolyte figures and the Moff Gideon Mando helmet, which was a big Pulse drop this week.
That I wanted to talk about the acolyte figures, because it looks like they picked like 6 or 7 characters to do Black Series versions of already, which is kind of amazing because we know
Yeah,
how long it took to get Black Series versions of like most other properties because they were playing catch up for years and years. Now they
yeah,
can be in the moment. So, and I actually think Acolyte makes more sense as a Black Series only and not a 3 3/4 inch scale because you're not going to find those like on shelves in Walmart or whatever else.
yeah.
So I think that's the right move. By the way, I'm so excited about Acolyte. I thought the trailer was just incredible. It
Yay!
looks, I mean, never mind the poster is incredible. We looked at the poster last week, and it's
Love
got
it.
that awesome lightsaber blade with like the red streak that looks like the blood. Yeah, there it is. Dave
Oh,
has it on the ready. Dave is filling in for Jeff tonight, and he is our producer with the host with the most. Um, I I was trying to explain this to someone who hadn't seen it, and it like doesn't even do it justice when you describe
no,
like, yeah,
it's just so cool because you have like the very like clean stone, like clean marble, and then you
hmm
just got the blood streak. Just oh,
yeah.
insanity! I cannot wait.
It it's gonna be. I think it's actually gonna be a bloodbath. That show. I think it's very adult, is what I'm hearing. And by the way, I don't know because I'm not. I'm a licensee, but I have not gotten a story overview of anything related to Acolyte. And even if I did, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. But I can actually like sort of freely sort of guess about the Acolyte in a lot of ways because I don't know a thing and I'm not making product for it. So
Yeah.
like I know even less than I usually do. It's kind of weird being like on the inside and knowing nothing. So I'm like truly on the outside. But it just looks so different, even with the familiar setting of like the Jedi Temple and like the younglings sitting around and watching guys and girls in long brown robes wielding lightsabers. Like all of that is very familiar, and yet it
Yeah.
feels so fresh and it feels in a completely different world, even though we know that's probably Coruscant. Like there's just something about it. There's no Skywalkers to be seen. Um, I don't see any familiar faces. Even the locations are like just different enough. But it's a familiar world with new people, and check and check.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we can have something to just kind of hook us into things. Um, Obviously, it's happening in a time of peace for the Jedi. The Jedi is training, are training their Padawans. You have Master Soul, played by Lee Jun Jae. You have Jedi Master Endara, played by Carrie Ann Moss. You have this crazy purple cloaked assassin
Yeah.
named May, played by Amandla Stenberg.
Yes.
It's
That's
just
Rue.
Daphne Keene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rue.
Yep.
Um, Daphne Keene, who played Laura slash X-23 in Logan.
Hmm.
She is a Padawan. So it's just exciting to see like a new Padawan teenage
Yep.
girl and it not
I'm
be Ahsoka. Like
I'm
I,
most
I love
excited for the
Ahsoka. Don't get me
witch.
wrong.
Like
Yeah,
more than anyone else, there's a woman who they're calling a witch, and she had a whole bunch of women around her. I was like, yes, everything about this, just start the show there, start and finish the show there. Just her. Let's walk around and follow her. Like I'm all into that. I want to see different
Dathomirian
interpretations of the
witches.
Force. Yeah, I'm into it. Like they don't need to be night sisters. They could be some other type of thing. I want to see different executions of the Force. She had this weird swirly thing on her head and these crazy long hair. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, and yes. Yeah, so
Path of the
Mike,
Open
is that the
Hand.
open hand? Is that the thing on the head? I think that's the reference, right? So I'm all
It's
into it.
exciting. I have so much speculation. I'm like, okay, who's gonna turn? Who's the bad guy?
Sherry, I'll throw a chair if I see one recognizable character in this show, Plo Koon included. Um, and I don't want to see Yoda. I don't want to see anyone. I don't even want them to utter a familiar name. If I hear the words Darth Revan or Darth anything in a name that I know, like I'm gonna be very upset. I want there to be zero connectivity to anything in the sense that like no Easter eggs, no action figure. No, it's not the action figure hour. So. Um,
I want
yeah,
freshness.
yeah, yeah, all new, all
All
new.
new.
Yeah, Star Wars should be weird again for sure. And with
Hmm.
that in mind, we should get into the episode that we need to watch tonight. It's not the weirdest in season 4, but it is putting us on the path to the weird, and ends in a way that is like shocking and put on your subtitles. Which, if you didn't have your subtitles on 5 years ago when this aired, you would have heard one thing but not realized unless you really knew what it really meant. And we'll get there at the end, but subtitles are a must.
Oh yeah.
Yep. All right, so everyone get your Disney Plus queued up. We're going to be doing season 2. Someone got season 2, season 4, episode 6, Flight of the Defender. Um, Dave, hit that countdown.
And we start with Loth Kitties. Oh, my favorites. I love them so much.
The cats and the wolves have a really strong showing in season 4 in particular.
And they like snow. Oh, they found Ezra and Sabine and Ryder. And I love that they're hiding with them, like just doing a stakeout. It's so cute. There's that season 4 helmet from Sabine. Up for pre-order now on denuonovo.com.
More coming.
Oh, so
Um,
excited. Zeb, be nice to the Loth Kitties. Look at these hams. Not a steak.
Disney Plus it keeps dragging. I'm like buffering. Ugh. Luckily, I've seen this episode a zillion times, but I definitely want to be able to keep up
It,
with what's going on
it's
screen.
unnerving because not only is it wintertime on Lothal, like that scene right there with Hera and Kanan, like looking out over the fields of Lothal and them all being burned. It's kind of sad.
I was watching a recon, and they were talking about how in the trailer it was intentional that Lethal didn't look like the Lethal from season one. Like they made it so that it looks burnt and unrecognizable and ravaged by the Empire.
Yeah, it definitely does. Oh, crazy TIE fighter. Speaking of love cats, it's Ahsoka. Yay. You've been sleeping this whole time, and now you know I'm doing a show and you're here.
That's always what happens. Um, Earlier, I was chasing Hicks around and he didn't want to be bothered. And then I came in here and he was like all up on me.
This is the way. I have to say, I woke up early this morning for work, like really early. Like it didn't even register. I just grabbed a clean shirt out of my drawer and put this shirt on. Didn't realize that today is the 2-year anniversary of the passing of Taylor Hawkins.
Mm,
So the Foo Fighters have been doing memorial tributes for him all day, and it's just weird. Like this is the shirt I put on today of
yeah,
all days. So
the universe senses it.
yeah, kind of crazy, but
Yeah, for everyone asking in the chat, we can't show the episode on our show because we will be copywritten immediately. It's why we actually keep
that's
headsets on
off.
too, because we can't even have the audio playing.
Yeah,
Um, but we do have, where's our handy dandy timer? Don't we usually have like a timestamp?
we do.
We
I
usually have
just
a
don't think I
timestamp
have it
going.
for that.
Yeah. What's your timestamp, Ashley?
Let's see. It's not showing me. Oh, rude. My Disney Plus doesn't show me, so
Dave, do you know where you are on the timestamp?
sorry.
No, no worries. 3:45.
3:45.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Um, Yeah, so I always have it up on a separate screen. I was joking about my too many screens just last week, actually, when we were on Daughters of the Galaxy. I was like, I got the big screen over here, the laptop over here, my phone over here. And you want to be able to keep up with all the various chats. Now, we have one comprehensive chat that comes in through StreamYard, so it pulls from Facebook and from YouTube. Now
Yeah.
we're also on Instagram, so I was keeping an eye on that. We're just really, you know, uh, getting started on Instagram, but I do think as Facebook becomes less relevant for people, Instagram will grow and grow. But our Facebook group is really what I got to tell you, like, that's why, like, I've had numerous people tell me that's why they have Facebook, is because of the Facebook group, our Star Wars Celebration Facebook group, and they don't use it for anything else. And it's totally understandable. I wouldn't have Facebook if I didn't need it for work or for this group.
Hmm.
So I have two reasons, and that's it. Keeping up with other people, it's like, nah, you can follow me on Instagram. Where it used to be Twitter. I loved Twitter. Twitter was like my all-time favorite, and then it's all gone to hell.
Love cat attack. Get him. Get him. Really gonna shoot love cats? You deserve it. Imperial scum.
Yeah, the cats attacking the troopers are pretty fantastic.
Uh-oh. Comes Thrawn. Wants to know how his ship is going.
I like that Price is right there with him. Um, this is her. I mean, this is as much her operation as it is his. And he's got Death Troopers, which is very exciting. The guy who, the pilot, what is this? Pop-ups? What the fuck?
He ends up
Um,
running the bar on the fall.
is that him? It's Volt Scaris.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yeah, he's in a few episodes. Mario Vernazza does his voice. Clancy Brown is also back as Ryder Azadi. And then, of course, the other two guest stars are Lars Mikkelsen as Grand Admiral Thrawn and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn as Governor Price.
Which
And the rest of the cast is all core.
I have to say, like when I met Mary and Steve, uh, Steve Bloom, the voice of Zeb, um, at Rhode Island Comic Con several years ago, season, the season finale, the series finale of Rebels season 4 hadn't even aired yet. So when I told her that, like, oh, Price is she's so nasty, like she's just a wicked, wicked woman. She goes, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, when it happened, I was like, I was so appalled. I was like, I can't believe she knew, and it was so bad.
Hmm. That's the thing. They have to keep the secret for so long, right?
Yeah,
I mean, she's the one who took down Kanan.
never forgive her for that. I love Mary, but she's the most evil person in Star Wars. Forget Palpy. She's
Um, we
Price
run
is on
into a
my
lot
list.
of characters in a lot of bad characters in season 4. We're going to see Rook. The Emperor is going to appear later in the season. Obviously, we make our way through the world between worlds, and we run into uh, that guy that Sabine is sort of stuck trying to help, who works for the Empire.
Voiced by Malcolm McDowell.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on his name.
yeah, me
There's
too.
it's it's quite the pack season. Meanwhile, this TIE fighter like has extra shields and a hyperdrive. And if you think about it, I think this would have turned the tide of the war, right? Like
Yeah,
the Death Star was an instrument of fear. But this is like functional. Like this would actually be useful because the real conflict is that the Rebel Alliance knew they didn't have as many ships, but they were better and better defended and could win in dogfights because of that. If you're able to undo that by having ships like this with shielding and everything else, you could take out the Rebel fleet really easily.
absolutely. Sabine, are you crazy? The answer is yes. Always
Yep.
yes.
I'm going back yet again. Thrawn doesn't even blink. He's like, how do you miss Thrawn though? Come on, guys, get it together.
How do you miss Price? Jesus. Sorry. Still better.
Control tower.
It's got shields, Thrawny. What are you doing?
Treat it like a combat test. Yeah, Sarah's nailed it. Um, Thrawn actually figured out how to win, but Palpatine's real goal was to rule through fear, right? I mean, his dark side first and foremost, whereas Thrawn is like, no, this is the side I'm on and I just want to win. Very different approach there. I
Oh, yeah.
never thought of Thrawn as being evil. I always thought of him as just being
Calculated.
precise. Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew how to get it done. And if you were on the rebel side, like the Empire would have never stood a chance. So you wouldn't have needed Luke Skywalker if you had Grand Admiral Thrawn on the Rebel Alliance side. So for Facebook user who is asking about our live time, one, we should put up the little banner of how to connect your Facebook to StreamYard so we can identify who you are, but I will look on Facebook to check. And yes, we're live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Here on Monday nights with Rebels Revisited, and we've got an entire lineup of programming throughout the week. So Mondays is Rebels Revisited, Wednesday actually alternates between Daughters of the Galaxy, which Ashley co-hosts with Jamie, where they talk about the female characters across the saga. And on the other Wednesdays, it's the Nerf Herder Council. This week, they're actually doing a review of Ghostbusters. I want Frozen Empire, which is very exciting. Thursday is going to be the Thursday night watch along. Friday is our Bad Batch after show. On the watch along, we're doing Bad Batch right now because that's what's airing. And then Sundays alternate between Jedi Archives, which is about comics and books, or the Unifying Force, which is our philosophy show. So we've got a little bit of something for everyone in the mix.
Yeah, welcome, Helen. Yeah, we're glad you joined us and liked watching with us.
Yeah, I don't want to say our show is the best show on the network. Especially Dave is sitting and producing for us tonight. He's on two other shows. So Dave, who's producing for us tonight, filling in for Jeff, is co-host on the Thursday Night Watch Along, which is the signature show of the network for sure. And then
Yeah.
he also works on the Unifying Force with Kat and Geo, and that one is. Oh man, you need to know your Star Wars. And if you don't know your Star Wars, they will educate you. They get deep into the philosophy and like the makings of sometimes of all the various parts of the saga. So that's always an interesting listen. And then
Oh, yay.
if you're really into all things literature, whether it's the comic books or the books or whatever, the Jedi Archives is a great place to get started as well. Mike, who's been in the chat, is another host on the network. I know I started an internal fight over here. Um, he hosts the Jedi Archives and is also one of the hosts on the Bad Batch after show. So we've got all the hosts visiting.
Yeah, Helen says she loves Rebels, so you are in the right
Yeah.
place.
And we've been on air now for little over a year, coming up on 2 years in June.
Yeah.
So we've got episodes. This is episode, uh,
92.
is it that many? I knew we were
Yeah.
coming up on 100. So there are 91 other episodes. You can go back and check our playlist on YouTube to see all the
Yeah.
episodes that we've covered.
We had guests
Yeah.
with us, like Vanessa Marshall, Taylor Gray, Philip Anthony Rodriguez,
Mhm.
Julie Dolan. We've
Yep.
definitely
Keone
run the
Young.
gamut. Keone
Yep.
Young. Just,
That
yeah.
episode is still one of my all-time favorites because
It's
he is
so
a hoot.
fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
And yeah, we've been doing watch-alongs. Sometimes we do thematics. Um, it's very like in the moment. So when Andor was happening, we did a whole plan to get ready for Andor. So right now we're deep in Bad Batch, right? So the whole network is covering Bad Batch with the watch along on Thursday nights, the after show. We'll jump in on Bad Batch where it makes sense. And then with Acolyte coming up, we're actually figuring out a program for that now, which is very, very exciting. Thank you,
Ouch.
Dave, or Dave, Mike. Um, I'm gonna snip that and send it to the rest of the hosts just to start a fight. As we're trying to build something comprehensive for the network where we all work together, it's like Mark would just want to let everyone know that we have the best show of the network. Also, need your ideas for how we're all going to partner next month. Send. So that'll go over great.
Just so you know.
And we're actually in the end game over here. I mean, we'll be on air for another few months, and then we're going to turn over to Clone Wars Revisited. As you can see, we're in season 4. All the paths are converging, and we're nearing the end of our show, which will then flip over to Clone Wars Revisited, which I'm so excited about because I don't watch Clone Wars. I don't rewatch Clone Wars with the same cadence that I rewatch Rebels. So
Same.
being able to
Yeah.
do it on air with everyone and get to like watch it together is going to be really fun.
I'm so excited for that. Because it'll be things that we haven't seen in a long time,
Yeah.
too. So
And I know there are episodes of Clone Wars that I've watched once and only once because some of them
all
do
of
not
them.
require
Oh,
a
with the
second,
exception of
you
season
know.
7. Season
Well,
7, the last 4 episodes are so rewatchable. It's not even funny.
I must have seen the Mortis arc 15 times. Like I've watched that so many times at the expense of watching other things. Um, and it's because once you've seen some of the episodes and you're like, oh, that wasn't great, you don't need to rewatch it.
Follow the white loath cat.
Yep. Oh, there's a kitty pushing his way in. Kitty.
Hixie.
Yeah. It's always him. It's never her. She's never coming to visit me. Um, Thank you, everyone, playing tech support in the chat. Uh,
Love you. Thank you guys helping a fellow
Meanwhile, I'm the
group
prime
member.
offender on Thursday nights because none of my stuff's connected because I have the host view in StreamYard. So I'm just all connected in here. But if I'm just on Facebook watching the Thursday night watch along, I'll just type something and they'll be like, hey, idiot, like connect your StreamYard. And it's me. Like, of course, I should be the first person who has everything set up and then I have to remember to open YouTube instead. So that way it shows as me.
Oh my.
Look at how gorgeous Lethal looks in all of this.
It's the Empire rat thinks it's ruining it.
Oh, stop eating the plastic. Oh my god. Get over here. All right, I'm going to show everyone the kitty. This is the kitty.
It's the
Hello.
Hexy in his white
Yep.
tummy.
Do, 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 do.
Hi, Hexy. You are very cute, sir.
He's adorable.
He's like, no,
a lot of
talk
love.
to me. Talk to me.
Well, now he found my microphone, so
He's
something
gonna
to
rub
brush
his
up
face
against.
on it. Yep.
Yep. And down. There you go.
Little cat.
Lethal was done really well in the Ahsoka show. I feel like we're gonna get back to Lethal at some point. Like I think Ahsoka season 2 is probably gonna mention it at some point, but I also think there's more to do on Lethal. Now see, now he's being a good boy. He's like sitting here just in petting range, like off camera where he's supposed to be.
That's where Ahsoka is. She's just over here chilling.
So these wolves are ginormous. He just knocked out Sabine, and I don't know what you do in that situation because you're not gonna fight this wolf. Your lightsaber's not gonna do nothing. And there's the Loth cat. I'm pretty sure that we had some sketch cards and some sets that had the stack of like the wolf and the cat.
I definitely drew it at least once or twice. Meow.
I like the idea that the nature on the planet is aware of the threat from the Empire.
The wiggle ears. They're
Yeah.
so cute.
Mr. Barnes, what are you up to?
Yeah. Also, like, I have to say that the wolf's breath knocking out Sabine, like that's intense.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hi, Jason.
So she doesn't remember anything. Welcome to the show. Sarah, we missed you for the past couple weeks. I know you've been away. We have got to talk Doctor Who. That season 1 trailer, I think, captured the tone of where they want this new show to go. It's going to feel fresh and new and different and like a whole new
Yeah.
start without giving away too much. And that is such a delicate balance. Jason, you got to tell us, are you also a Whovian?
Yeah, we definitely got to know. Oh, Lori, I've drawn for the top sets since Empire Strikes Back Black and White. That was my first set in 2018. And I just got the email that got me back in. I guess they were moving everybody's information over to a new system and my profile was inactive. So they fixed that. I know. And I'll be back on some sets soon. Can't wait to
Yay.
get back to that. They're doing things a lot different, but I like
big changes there.
Yeah.
We'll
So
get
many.
you a list, Lori, because Ashley's done a bunch of ones I worked on with her as well, including you were in Galaxy.
Galaxy, Women of
Women
Star
of Star
Wars,
Wars. That's probably one of the best.
Mandalorian.
If you put Ashley's name, which by the way will never be spelled correctly on eBay because eBay is a cesspool to begin with, but they can't spell. Search it a couple different ways with a Y and with the double E, and just search her name and sketch card. You'll get some hits.
Oh yeah, there's
Yep.
definitely someone there.
Capaldi. All right, Jason, is he your number one doctor? Because my doctor is Tennant. And I think him coming back for the 60th reinforced my love for him as my number one, followed by Smith. I like Capaldi, but he's probably not my number three. My number three is probably Tom Baker, but that's probably because of quantity. Like he's just in so much stuff.
Oh
I'm also
yeah.
a new Who versus a classic Who. Meanwhile, this episode right here, I know there are a lot of people who've talked about like being a yeah, I know Dave, our producer, is all about
Doctor Who
the fourth
Yang.
Doctor. Yeah, Tom Baker. Is like there's a lot of people who maybe didn't get into Rebels because they were classic trilogy fans and then didn't go into the new um Disney streams of content. I stand by the fact that I think Rebels is as good as the original trilogy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that it ends on the Loth Wolf, just like watching them walk away.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
oh
this idea that like the planet itself recognizes the threat of the Empire and recognizes the Force in Ezra and Kanan. Um, and they need to help these particular humans resolve this conflict because it's in the benefit of the for the benefit of the Force and nature, right? Wolves, in the recon episode that I watched, Dave Filoni was talking about wolves and how they're often misunderstood, but they bring balance to an ecosystem even
yeah,
though people think that they're scary or whatever else. Like they are a necessary component in it, much like nature itself. It can be cruel or it can be really beautiful.
yeah. And Dave is a big um pro for wolf preservations. Like
Yes.
he's visited like wolf sanctuaries, um, anything for helping them like restore the ecosystem. It's awesome. So
Yeah, he's definitely a
that's
conservationist.
what yeah, and that's why he has the wolf on everything. He's the Falone. That's what
Yep.
happens.
Yeah. It
Yep.
looks like everyone's been listening to what Dave's been saying. We got a lot of pro wolf people in the chat, which is great.
Yay. Love it.
Um, and look,
Thanks,
the
guys.
wolves are going to continue because they're a huge part of the rest of season four.
Me too,
Um,
Lori.
and
Sorry.
really, all right, we're gonna have to get you guys rolling. I think.
The one I watched was I think it was a Christmas episode. It was a Tenant episode.
Okay.
And it was the girl with the fireplace, like the two-way fireplace.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if it's
good.
an all-time great. I think for anyone who's never seen Doctor Who, um, it's been on and off the air for like 60 years. It ran very much uninterrupted starting 60 years ago for a very long time. Um, and then it got canceled for a little while and it came back in like 2009. There's a time traveler. He travels across space and time in a blue box called the TARDIS. And there's always a new adventure and there's always new companions. And the Doctor changes faces over and over again. He regenerates. So that's how you get a new
Yeah,
actor to take on the role. We do have a new Doctor. His name is Ncuti Gatwa. You would have seen him in Sex Education, and he was most recently in Barbie as one of the Kens. So he's very cool, very young, and just very cool too. Like he's like a
yeah,
cool Doctor.
I'm
Um,
excited.
yeah, so something different. Um, he's also, I think is he bisexual in real life or pansexual or I don't know. Either way, he's queer of some type, right? So that's a first. Um, and his companion, the girl who's playing like essentially the other co-lead on the show, is also very young. Like they're both in their early 20s or something. So it's very exciting to see like a lot of young energy being inserted
He's
into a
just
show that's
Dr.
like 60
Ken.
years old. Yeah. Um, so yeah, we should do. I'm not doing a Doctor Who show also, Mike, but I do want to, as the show comes back, I'll probably mention it every now and then. It comes back in May,
Yeah, we definitely
on
have to
Disney
say
Plus. Yeah,
that we got Tom Baker as, the
the Bendu.
Bendu and Rebels. We have, David Tennant as Hu Yang,
Hmm.
who's for the younglings,
In the
actually,
Clone Wars
in
and
the
in
Clone Wars,
Ahsoka.
and in
Yeah.
Ahsoka. He made his live action debut this summer.
Hmm.
Um, so there's plenty of Doctor Who. Oh, there's the shirt I designed. That's um, there's definitely a Doctor Who tie-in to Rebels and to Star Wars, and that's what we love about it.
Yeah, there's some other overlap on the at one point I had a list because there are people who've done both. Um,
Hi.
because when we were doing autographs at Tops, it was always good to have someone who was in multiple properties, right? Like, it's just easier to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 10 actors who have appeared in Star Wars and Doctor Who. And a lot of times it's like some random British person. I mean, Ian McDermott's been in both. Um, Peter Cushing, Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Legends.
yeah. Come on, get away. He's always eating plastic. Oh yeah, Felicity Jones.
Yep.
Um, yeah, there's been a bunch. So there's definitely some overlap on that side. But I'm a big Whovian, and I highly recommend when the new season comes out, everyone at least gives it a look. If you've never seen an episode of Doctor Who, the nice thing is it is a time travel show that is episodic within its season, but you can pick up kind of wherever. And if you do just want to watch a Christmas episode, like a Christmas episode is usually very standalone and it's something of like a British tradition.
Mhm.
Or you could watch the 50th anniversary special, which gives you just enough like exposition. Or you watch an episode like Blink, which is one that the Doctor is barely in, and it's sort of told from the perspective of an outsider, and you'll get sort of introduced to the world, and it's also sort of known as like one of the best episodes of the series.
That's cool.
Yeah. Um,
Right.
when did
Well,
that come out? It came out like so long ago. It's kind of crazy.
I know.
10th episode, 2007. That's
Jeez.
wild. Yeah.
That's hard to believe that's like 15, 16
Yeah.
years ago. And
Yeah.
doesn't it even feel like that far?
No, Carrie Mulligan is the lead in that, and it's basically her. It's like a mini movie, which is yeah, and it reinvents itself over and over again, as Jason is saying. So there's no
Nice.
wrong way to start. I got to tell you, like as someone who liked Doctor Who in college but wasn't obsessed, like I've seen a good amount of like the Tom Baker years because those were always on reruns on like PBS, Channel 13, where I'm from in New York, right? But like I didn't watch most of the original classic stuff, and then we got the license at work, and I was like, "Oh my god, I've got to watch a lot of this stuff." Yeah, the first Eccleston episode titled Rose, which would be considered Series One from 2009 or whatever it is, or 2006, is a good starting point as well. And don't skip nine. Eccleston is a fantastic doctor. Um, and yeah, I went back and watched what I could from the original stuff from the 60s, like the first Doctor with William Hartnell. A lot of those episodes are gone. Like they're like considered lost media now because they aired on the BBC, and then the tapes literally got written over because they weren't keeping the tapes back then, which is insane to me, like to say it out loud. But there's literally
Right?
lost media. So some of those episodes needed to be recreated in animation, which was a whole project for the BBC leading up to the 60th anniversary. I think they've now like restored most of them because a lot of times they have the old audio from audio recordings. Yeah, but
Wow,
it's
that's wild.
a lot of different entry points. The same with Star Wars. Like we've got the young Jedi Adventures, we've got Rebels, we've got Clone Wars, the movies. I think there's a lot of different on ramps for Star Wars. The same as there's for Doctor Who.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was our episode. I got to tell you, the where we are in season 4, we're just at that tipping point, right? Next week we're going to do Kindred, um, which continues right after this. It's episode 7, so that was episode 6. We're going in chronological order. We're doing 7, and then the week after that we're doing 8. Next episode has a lot of Rook in it, which is very exciting. Rook
Voiced
is
by
played.
Warwick Davis.
Yep. Rook is from the originally from the Extended Universe books. So, and he is the bodyguard of Thrawn. My understanding is that people's um, feelings about his portrayal in Rebels were like less than stellar. I thought he was pretty cool, but I also understand that people wanted him like involved a lot more and a lot
Yeah,
longer is the thing. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
That
But either
seems
way,
to be the
you know,
consensus.
we will be back next Monday with a new episode, a new watch along, and we'll be covering Kindred. So, all right, what do we have this week that we need to tell people about?
Mike says Free Comic Book Day will feature the High Republic Young Jedi Adventures characters. So that's pretty cool.
That's May the 1st, right?
It's the first weekend in May is Free Comic Book Day.
Yep.
So let
Oh, that
me
would be May the 4th, wouldn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
would. First
Yep. Free
Saturday in
Comic Book
May.
Day,
So
May the
perfect
4th.
timing.
Very exciting.
Yeah. So get thee to your local Newberry Comics slash
Mhm. Yep.
local comic book shop to celebrate.
Yep. Spencer is mentioning
Something something
Wednesday.
327.
So we'll be
Teasing.
announcing the theme of the first autograph session as part of the family vacation on Wednesday, which is very exciting. And there's also going to be all sorts of events around Free Comic Book Day and May the 4th in general. There's a lot going on. We can't even get into all of it on our channel right now, but we do
15
have,
tickets.
yeah, we do have a very limited number of tickets for the family vacation. So not to
One
confuse the
five.
many things. So May the 4th is one thing. There's events, there's signings, there's this, there's that. We'll put together something comprehensive that you guys can follow. The family vacation, which is coming later in July, only 15 tickets left for that second bus, and which is crazy how fast things are moving over here. And we'll be announcing the theme this Wednesday of the first batch of signings, because as you know, there are two signing events happening in Southern California um, during the family vacation. So do not miss out on that.
It's gonna be good. I guess if you're in, I want to say Washington D.C., Brendan Wayne will be signing at a local comic shop. He is the body double for Mandalorian. There are 3 signing events, one in San Francisco. Oh, announcing all 3 themes. Oh
Mhm.
boy. Okay.
Oh, I thought we were just announcing the first one. Okay. So
Oh,
all the themes are getting announced. And
okay.
then actors to be announced at a later time. And of course, tune in on Thursday, where I know the Thursday night watch along, the boys will be going in depth on all of this. And that gets us to the programming for the week. So tomorrow's happy hour. Be sure to join us on the Zoom chat. That's obviously not aired, but it is for everyone to
It's
join
fun.
in. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I'm never home in time, which is always a problem, but I got to make it to one of these, especially as we get closer to May the 4th. And then Wednesday night, we've got a new episode of the Nerf Herder Council, where they will be talking in depth about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I have not seen it yet, but I've also listened to a review and then realized halfway through that it was a spoiler review. And I was like, well, forget it. I'll just keep listening and I'll see it in the theater, just knowing what happens. And that's fine. The movie sounds fun. And that's why I can't imagine anyone is, and, I can't imagine the good guys don't win. So my assumption is it's more about how it feels in the theater and the way you experience it. So
I've seen like 40% uh critic review on Rotten Tomatoes and an 87%
yeah, quite the
audience view.
quite the
So you know
differential.
who this was made for, and it's fine.
Yeah. Look, I'm
It's
also
for the
so full
fans.
transparency, I am a licensee of the Ghostbusters. We have pet costumes and we have new costumes for people coming out in 2025. So working on all of that now. I'm very excited about the red jumpsuits and bringing back our old classic stuff that we used to do, and um,
Yeah.
all of that coming soon, which is very, very exciting. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see it just as a fan. So yeah, we got to do the red ones. So I'll
So
keep
cool.
everyone posted on that and bring out the Dune popcorn bucket.
Oh
Absolutely.
my goodness.
And
Oh
then
my goodness.
all right, so for everyone new in the chat, it seems like we have a few people. Monday nights
Yeah.
is Rebels Revisited. Tuesday nights is Happy Hour, so join us on the Zoom. This Wednesday will be the Nerf Herders. Next Wednesday will be Daughters of the Galaxy. Thursday, the Watch Along, which right now we are watching along with the Bad Batch, which is very exciting. Fridays is the Bad Batch after show, hosted by Mike, who is here in the chat, along with Bryce and John. And then on Sundays, we have alternating schedules of the Unifying Force or the Jedi Archives. So that is our programming for the week. It's quite the variety of shows. And if you have any ideas, any themes, anything you want us to cover, any questions, you can always reach out to either of us on Facebook or message the VCN with anything, and happy to help.
Yeah. It's exciting. And we love like the banter back and forth, and we love making you guys as much as part of the show as we are, because we couldn't do
Mhm.
this without you. We'd just be talking to ourselves, which is fine,
Yeah.
I guess. But
It's always weird when
we
we do
love
a
you and we need you.
pre-record,
Yeah.
because we'll do a pre-record because we're a Monday show, so we have a lot of holidays on Mondays, and so we'll
Mm,
do a pre-record for something like Memorial Day, and then it's Ashley and I watching something, and there's no chat to talk with, and so we stay on topic, but it's not the same. Like this is
yeah.
way better where we're all over the place and we just sort of jump in. Yeah,
Yeah. We can't do this without you guys.
yeah,
So we
exactly.
appreciate you.
Well, thank you for tuning in this week,
Yeah.
and we will definitely see you next Monday for yet another watch along, season 4, episode 7. kindred. Until then, you guys have a fantastic week, and may the force be with you.
Bye, guys.